Hello, my name is Alyssa Ronda and I'm an occupational therapy student at West Coast University. Today we're going to be meeting with Timothy Bulgarelli, a certified prosthetist and orthotist here at Pacific Prosthetics and Orthotics. We're going to be asking him a couple questions about his profession and how he works with an occupational therapist.
Prosthetics, it's prosthetic limbs, upper extremity, lower extremity of all different levels, issues, that sort of thing, ages. So that's the prosthetic part of it. The orthotic part is bracing of all different kinds, and there's lots and lots and lots of those. Spinal, lower extremity, upper extremity, with lots of different varieties depending on what the issues are, what the functional issues are. Well, it depends on whether they're a brand new amputee, whether they're an old wearer and just needs a new prosthesis. New amputees, I like to follow them early as I can get, right after surgery, so I can watch them, I can explain what's going on, what they have to look forward to, what their limitations might be, how long it's going to take you to get up to walking without, a walker or cane or crutches or anything like that. Just give them an overview of what they're in for. And it used to be almost everything was custom made. Some of the orthotics, particularly the ones that I use most, are adjustable from very small body shape to very large, and so sort of one size fits all. They're all adjustable, and because most of them are actually short time use, whereas the prosthesis, it's forever. From your perspective, being occupational therapy students, pretty much all of the upper extremity orthotics were made by orthotists for many years. And only until companies came out with heat formable, low temperature heat formable plastics, that's when OTs got into doing it. Education is a master's degree program. It's changed a lot since I've been in, since mid-70s. I went to Northwestern University in Chicago. It's a very peculiar thing in this field. Some states, we have had since 1948 a certification program, but it was a national thing, and it was put on by, it was started by a group of prosthetists, orthotists back in the 40s, I assume. I don't know if they got into it before that. But they wanted some governing body that could test everybody and make sure they knew what they were doing and give them a certification. But there was no state licensure at all. And there are still, in many states, California is one that does not have licensure. But there are numerous states in the country now that do have licenses. You have to work, after you get out of school, you have to work a year in prosthetics and then another year in orthotics before you're eligible to take the national board exam. So when you get out of school, you've got to work for 2 years with somebody. And typically it's not necessarily an office just like this, but in a privately owned practice, you've got to work for somebody. There are some hospitals, but not very many. Usually they're like a large county hospital. VA hospitals will have prosthetists, orthotists on staff. When the orthotist is doing the upper extremity work, there was a lot more collaboration, because I would work together with whoever the OT was that was working with a patient. Now it's very, very little. I work at City of Hope much of the time, and that's a cancer hospital. I don't know if you know it. It's just down the freeway 4 or 5 miles. And they do some upper extremity amputations, but it's all for cancer. Okay. So, but that isn't the norm So I don't see, I don't see a lot of patients with the OTs over there. I see all the OTs, I know them, I show them what's new in the field. I mean, I do get calls from OTs over at City of Hope for resting hand splints. I don't know if you're familiar with comfy splints, that type of thing.
We're getting there. Slowly
Comfy
but surely.
splints. It's a Comfy Splint is a company down in, I think, Costa Mesa, and they just stamp out aluminum, real lightweight aluminum forms, and then they have a zipper on the underneath side. You can take it off, wash the cover, put it back on again. And so City of Hope uses quite a few of those for their patients, but they're, it's very simple off-the-shelf thing. I mean, there's some new things that are being done now. I don't know if you're familiar with it, osseous integration. Have you seen or heard about that at all? Well, this is relatively new in the prosthetic field, and so they're doing it. I know, I've seen it numerous times for lower extremity. I haven't for upper extremity, but I'm sure it will happen soon. Osseous integration is where they implant in, for instance, the tibia or the fibula. They open up the bottom of the amputated limb. Typically, I think what they do early on is they will do the amputation, bring the musculature over the end, they'll let it heal up, and then they'll go in secondarily and open it up again, and they drill out the femur or the tibia, and they insert a plug in there that's, I don't know, maybe 4 inches long, and then they bring the skin around, and it's coated with this titanium textured coating that allows the skin to adhere to it. So you have this plug sticking out of the end of your leg, and you have no socket at all. You stick your leg into it. You just click this steel component in this thing in the tibia or in the femur, and it has the foot attached to it, and off you go. And I've talked to several people about it, and they really like it. They can feel the ground better because now it's attached directly to the bone, and they can feel through the bone better than through the socket and the soft tissue and everything. So I suspect that will happen more and more. You guys will see it before I will, with upper extremity as well. And so then I think you'll probably have more interaction with the prosthetist in that arena.
Hi Caitlin, so I know we're going to be working on your makeup today, and that's an important occupation for you to get back to.
Very important, yeah.
So we're going to be trying that today with the cotton ball here, and I know you're trying out your new orthotic today. So this will help you with manipulating the cotton ball, picking it up and trying to apply it to your face, okay? So let's see how it works out for you. How's it feeling?
It's kind of weird. I can't seem to get my wrist far enough back. Like if I move from one spot to the next on my face, so it's just like.
So we're having some issues with the extension of your wrist. So you know what I'll do is I'll get in contact with the orthotist, and he or she will come in and kind of manipulate and see what we can do about that wrist extension. Does it sound okay?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Perfect.
Hi, Caitlin. I'm the orthotist who has been working on this orthotic for you. And I heard you were having troubles with your wrist extension, so I went ahead and made some modifications to it. What I added here is a lever, which we can go ahead and manipulate by pressing this button right here, and it'll give you more degrees of your range of motion, having a further wrist extension, which you can then gauge within your intervention therapy services, how far she can go and how much you might have to bring it back down.
So let's see how this works this time. Oh wow.
It's so much better.
It is better? I can see it's added some wrist extension so you can kind of get around the sides there. Perfect. Alright, so we'll continue with this modification for now, and if we see any changes we need to make in the future, we'll do that, okay?
Okay,
sounds good?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Ooh, I have to go.